You're listening to the Go Be Great podcast with Travis Wolfe Sr., inspiring you to strive for greatness in everything, everywhere, every time.
Go be great!
Great day, everybody. This is Travis Wolfe Sr., and we are here with an extraordinary guest here on the Go Be Great podcast. We have Miss Jillian Bullock. Guys, Miss Jillian is going to tell you exactly who she is, but my goodness, this lady is absolutely extraordinary, a phenomenal human being, first, child of God, but the story that she has to tell you today is really going to inspire and empower individuals. My goodness, a director, a filmmaker, a speaker. She's an award-winning writer, producer, fight choreographer. Those are just some of the titles that Miss Jillian. My goodness. Most importantly, though, she's a survivor. She's an overcomer, and she's here to inspire and empower you today. Man, the accolades speak for themselves, but you're so much more than that, Ms. Bullock. Please tell our audience about who you are. Let them know who you are and what you're here to do today.
Well, like you said, I'm definitely a survivor. So, growing up, I had a rough childhood. I was raped when I was 10. Grew up with my mom and my siblings and my white stepfather, who was in the Italian mafia in Philadelphia. So when I was raped, I told only one person. It was my stepfather. So I think we know what happened to the guy who did that, because he was found the next morning with a bullet in his forehead. But still, it didn't ease the pain for me, the emotional pain of being 10, raped, confused. It was rough. It was rough for a long time, and to the point where around 11, I was so depressed and everything, I had to be hospitalized for the depression, and wasn't eating and everything, and nobody knew about it again except my stepfather. Then he got me to a therapist to try to help me through that. Going on later in life, around 15, my mom left my stepfather, got with a new guy who was actually really abusive, and then we moved to Florida, and I was a black belt in Taekwondo at that time, and I just got tired of my new stepfather beating on my mom all the time, and I jumped in it to try to help her and save her. And I busted my stepfather up pretty good, and I thought she would be happy that I helped her, because for her to stop getting beat on.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't go that way. She kicked me out, and I'm in Orlando, Florida, 15, like lost. And at this time, my original stepfather, the one who had raised me, the Italian mafia, he had died, so I couldn't go back to him. So I was just on the streets, homeless in Florida, walking around trying to survive, and trying to find money to eat, and until I couldn't take it anymore. I tried to sleep in the park benches or in the abandoned warehouses, and guys would try to rape me. And from being a black belt and having been raped before, I said that's never going to happen again. So I had to fight them off at night. I said I can't take this, and then one day a madam walked up to me and said, "Hey, 3 cots, a meal, you get a little money in your pocket, prostitution, yes, but it's better than being on the streets." And at first I didn't do it. I was trying to still survive on my own. But one day I saw a young lady around my age. She got murdered right in front of my eyes. And I said, that's it. So I took the madam up on her offer. And that became my life for a while.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Incredible. We're going to get to oh man, I just, being 10 years old, I was raped when I was 11. And by an older male foster brother. But to be, I have a 7-year-old daughter, right? I just checked on her, before we got started. She's still sleeping up there. And, I couldn't imagine that pain, for
Right.
a child to be so confused and not know. It just breaks my heart. It just breaks my heart. And this is why we do what we do, right? This is why you and I do the work that we do today, because we have to protect those children, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I want to spend a little bit of time on that because there's so many of us out there. In the time that I've been doing this work, I've learned that so many people have heard my story and have been inspired or motivated by it. One lady was 67 years old, Miss Jillian, and she said, I'm so grateful to hear your story because it helps me to believe that I can overcome. I'm like,
Wow.
she's 67.
67.
So she has
Wow.
gone through this her entire life and never been able to overcome it up
Right,
until the
right.
point that we met and had, when I did that talk. But, to tell us how you overcame um, that trauma. Tell us what steps you went through.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
was hard because I got addicted to drugs, being on the street. I hated being that I had to resort to selling my body to survive, but I just couldn't be on the street anymore. I wasn't safe on the streets. At least I know it sounds weird, but at least being a prostitute, you have a pimp, and his job is to protect the ladies, us, and so we don't get hurt by one of the Johns or something. Um, so that was that. But then I ended up later. I ended up getting pregnant, and then I was like, I tried to commit suicide when that happened because I was like, what am I doing here? I'm 15. I'm pregnant now. I don't know what I'm doing, right? Um, actually, I was 16 by that time. I was 16 by the time I got pregnant. And, I said, I have to find a way to get up. When I didn't die, I thought that definitely was God's intervention that I didn't die that night. I should have, I should have died that night. Um, and I didn't. So, I said I had to find a way to get off the streets. I have to find a way to get back to Philadelphia. I had heard that my mom had went back to Philadelphia without her current husband. So I said, well, maybe this is time I could come back home. Maybe it's safe to come back home. And I did. I came back home, and um, I still was struggling because I'm a teenager about to have a baby. I don't know anything. I'm trying to stay off the drugs. And then my son was born 2 months premature due to the drug use that I was using, obviously. Um, and the doctor said he wasn't going to survive. He only weighed 4 pounds. Doctor said he probably wouldn't survive, but he did. Another intervention I figured God put in there. And I guess every day I looked at him, that gave me the strength because I knew I had to go back to school, finish high school so I can go into college. I had somebody to be responsible for, even though I still wasn't getting any help because by that time my mom had let the stepfather back in again, back in the house again. All the chaos and craziness was starting all over again. Um, so I just tried to go to school and do the best I could, trying to raise my son by myself, basically. And that's how that worked for a while. Then I graduated from school and um, went on to a community college at first because my grades weren't good enough to go to a 4-year university at that time. So I had to work to get up to that speed. And then I had applied for an internship at the Wall Street Journal, and I actually got it, surprisingly. I got that, and to me, that was a good start for me. I'm in school. I got an internship at the Wall Street Journal, and it was a paid internship that helped me out a lot, so I could get off of welfare because they paid me a good sum of money each week. So I did that, and I just cared for my son the best way I could with my focus to become a filmmaker. Because even though my stepfather did mayhem as a mobster, every Sunday he would take me to the movies. When he raised me when I was from 2 on up, and he every Sunday when I was around 10, he started taking me to the movies to see movies. He was a movie buff, and he said, one day you're going to be a filmmaker, and I'm gonna see your name in lights. So um, I didn't believe him at first because I had never seen at that time a black filmmaker or a female filmmaker. But then he started finding films that black filmmakers and the female filmmakers, and he would take me to see them. So that gave me some hope that maybe he wasn't crazy thinking that I could accomplish this goal. So even though he had passed, I had promised him that would be my journey and I would fulfill his dream for me. And that's what I was working toward all that time. I was working toward fulfilling his dream, which eventually became my dream.
Yes, yes. I think that's one of the most critical pieces of overcoming anything is our focus, right? What we focus upon, that which we become, that's what we attract to ourselves. So it's
Right.
important to have a particular focus and to keep striving toward that focus all the time, that extraordinary future, right? That thing that you keep working toward no matter what. Because I think that through all of the challenges that we've gone through throughout our lives, I think that what keeps us pushing is the vision that we have for our lives, that we have for ourselves and our families, right? I mean, obviously you've done some extraordinary things with your family. One of your sons he's a doctor, right? And he's actually here in LA, right?
Well,
Or in
yeah,
California.
actually, yeah, the one that actually I had when I was a baby he was a
Yeah.
baby and 2 months premature. The doctors were like, he probably ain't gonna make it. And then even society wrote me off. A lot of my family members said, you're a crackhead, you're
Mm,
on welfare, you're this, you're that. Your son is not going to make it to 18. He'll probably be on drugs, in prison, or have 50 babies by different mothers.
mm.
They like wrote us off. It was like, wow. So I guess I was working hard to prove them wrong because I was like, we're not going to be a statistic. And then my son, so my son is like Dr. Clinton Bullock. He speaks 5 languages. He's a Fulbright scholar. I'm like, we're not going to be statistics. And I mean, I got 3 children. They're all doing amazingly well in their life, productive and all. I think it's a little extra with Clinton, my oldest, is because he wasn't supposed to survive. Everybody wrote us off, and he's excelled to so many levels, and he is out there in LA. So, yeah, I just had to prove people wrong. And I did it as a single parent. They say, oh, you can't raise boys and this and that. And I have 2 sons, and they were fine. I did all the stuff that a guy would have to do with them, I guess, even to the point where I had to teach them about sex education and how to use condoms. I did it all because I said, it's only me. And I want them to not have babies early. Don't want to get STDs, anything like that. And they never did. None of them, they did fine. So that is my greatest achievement.
and I think more importantly than proving the people wrong, you proved yourself right? That you were going to become this. You were going to keep your family safe. You were going to, teach your children the way to go, and help them to strive for whatever greatness they want in their lives, however they define it. And obviously, they're extraordinary human beings, so they definitely define greatness as something extraordinary. But man, can you tell us a little bit more, or rather, a little bit about some of the things that you faced as far as like challenges coming through this entertainment industry, being in the entertainment industry now, being a director and a filmmaker and an actor and a screenwriter and a screenwriting coach? Like, my gosh, the titles, there's like a slew of them. How did you overcome some of the challenges that you faced along the way? What were some of those challenges and how did you overcome them?
To be honest, I really didn't have challenges because at the beginning, I said I was going to do things myself. I wasn't going to go ask for a handout. I said, I'm going to write it. I'm going to direct it. I'm a producer. I'm going to find this money. I'm going to do it. The only thing that, I'm going to be honest, the only thing that did hold me back is that I wasn't in LA, because a lot of times I had different people who wanted to represent me. And they're like, we can't do it. You're 3,000 miles away. And unfortunately, that was my fear of going out there and just not thinking I was good enough at the time that I could make it among the big. I'm in a small pond. I'm like known here in Philadelphia, so I'm like the big dog here. But if I went to LA, I just had that fear that I would be in a small, big fish, small pond, all that. I just didn't. I wasn't sure. But now that's different now because I'm going to be shooting a film out there a few months called 22. It's these 2 Hollywood producers contacted me after they saw my movie, A Sense of Purpose, Fighting for Our Lives. They contacted me and said they wanted me to direct their $5.5 million film. I was like, I thought they were playing at first. I said, they playing because they're white producers. And I was like, they're playing with me. I really thought that. But they said after they saw my movie, they said they wanted a female. First of all, they wanted a female to direct the movie. It's about war. It's about wartime. A lot of war, but also coming home from war. And they had seen A Sense of Purpose, which deals with some of that stuff. Then they wanted a female, and then they said, oh my gosh, we lucked up even more. We found a veteran. So they found, so they were like,
yeah.
So we got on the Zoom call. I read the script, loved the script, just had some suggestions to make it more personal and more impactful. And they were open to it. made the changes, and that's that. So I'm coming to Hollywood.
Yeah, yes. So that last challenge, that last fear, we're overcoming it. We're just by just doing it. And I'm going to get a
Right.
little bit more into that. But you didn't. You mentioned kind of, as a matter of factly, the fact that we didn't even mention that you're a veteran.
Right.
You were in ROTC, right, early in high school, and
In
then
college. In
in college,
college.
rather, ROTC in college, and today you're a veteran. So not only do you have all these other accomplishments, uh, but you're also a veteran. You've also served this country. So when we talk about the film that you made, that's on Amazon, guys, you got to watch this film. It's on Amazon Prime. Please, 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 don't just watch this film,
Comment.
leave a comment on the film, right? That's so important because that helps with the ratings of the film. That helps, it to get more views and things like that. Please comment on the film. Go on Amazon Prime and watch this film. It's a sense of purpose fighting for our lives. Truly an amazing film. I'm,
And Travis is going to be leaving a comment.
I'm leaving a comment. I promise you. I saw the movie already, and I didn't leave the comment yet. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna leave the comment right now today when I'm done with this video. We're done recording this, so you guys will see my comment. Look for mine, and then leave one for yourself as well. But my gosh, to see the film set in a time where there's so much of this sexual assault in the military, right? And of course, in the military, we try to deny it, we try to pretend it doesn't exist, or we pretend we
Yep.
don't see it. And the truth is that it's there, and it's hurting so many women and so many men.
Men.
And we are actually talking about it a little bit more now and bringing a little bit more light to it, but it's still so much hidden and so much undercover. Your film attracts attention to that, brings awareness to that, and helps us to see that actually. And we watch the denial of I forgot the gentleman's name in the film, but
John, you mean the lead actor, John Cohen?
yes.
He
So
played Captain Nixon in the film.
yes,
Yep.
we watched Captain Nixon deny that this happened, and deny even in one of the interviews that he had.
Don't give it away.
I can't give away. I don't want to give any spoilers up. But we watch him, deny, like he never knew. And he is actually part of part of a bigger problem. Especially by denying and pretending it doesn't happen. I think that we continue to cause the problem when we don't own up, or at least don't try to take some kind of action. And I can understand how challenging it can be for us and for military, especially military leaders. But it's something that we do have to tackle. And I love how your film brings light to that. It was just a really powerful and very emotional film for so many reasons. I felt like a little bit of your story was weaved into that just a little bit because I
No,
had
it
known your
actually
story.
was. I was in the military, and a sergeant tried to, assault me.
Yeah.
And again, since I was 10, and that incident
Yeah.
happened to me, I said it's never going to happen again. And I kind of like busted the sergeant up a bit, and
Yeah.
they discharged me. They
Oh,
pulled my rank. They pulled my rank and put me back down to a private, and they discharged me. Thank God it was an honorable discharge. It wasn't a dishonorable one, because that would have really hurt me. Um, but I said, I don't care what happened to me. No one's ever going to violate me like that again. It was just too painful the first time, and I wasn't allowing it to happen again. So that was a little bit my story was in there. Like the lead actress, like when she tries to confront Sergeant Torres tries to confront Captain Nixon, and she's, "I'll go over your head," and
yeah.
you know what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't happen to me, thank goodness, because like again, I said I wasn't going to tolerate it. But it's happening to thousands and thousands of men and
Yes.
women in the military. You don't go into the military to be sexually harassed or raped. You're supposed to be trying to serve your country, trying to make a living for your family.
Yes.
And to have that happen, I mean, worse things have happened. Not too long ago, they were talking about a young lady who was killed in the military. She was
Yes. Yep.
found dead,
Found daddy. Yeah.
and the reports are coming out that she was trying to report her superior had raped her, and she was trying to report it and everything. And they, I just got my rank taken away. She got her life taken away.
Our life taken.
So it's horrible. It's horrible.
It is horrible. It is a horrible thing. And those she's just not going to have the opportunity to overcome that, because she's gone. But
Right.
had we had the proper protocols in place, the proper protections for her in place,
Right.
she wouldn't have had to experience this. So this is why you're doing. It's one of the reasons. Another one of the reasons why you're doing the work that you're doing, to bring awareness to this and to help people in that position, who really feel helpless and don't feel like they can help themselves. So we're
Right.
grateful for you for that, for sure. All right, let's get to your book. All right, so we've got the movies. You've done the movies. You got the book. Show us the book. Here I stand. I know you've got a copy, which is, yes, awesome, amazing, amazing. My goodness, not just a speaker, not just a speaker. We talk. I don't think you mentioned you're a speaker. You've got just, my goodness, so many different titles. But you're a speaker. You're an author. You're a director, filmmaker. Guys, in case you're just tuning in, this is Miss Jillian Bullock. Guys, she is an extraordinary human being, man. An award-winning actor, filmmaker, director, screenwriting coach, producer, author, speaker, gosh, survivor, overcomer, to go through childhood rape at just 10 years old, and then to overcome the challenges that come with that. Not just that, but to be homeless, kicked out of her home, and she was very young, beating up her one of her stepfathers for assaulting her mother. Her mother kicked her out. She's in the streets by herself, trying to figure it out. Ends up getting approached by a madam. Ends up getting into prostitution. Goes through all of that. Being in that, ended up pregnant through all of that. But today, having two amazing sons, being a director, soon to be a Hollywood director. She's going to be coming to LA soon, and we would love to have you here with us. She's got some amazing, amazing children who've grown up to be extraordinary human beings. I can't say enough about this woman. I'm so grateful to have her here on this interview with us. But I wanted to talk about how we talked about how you overcame all you've gone through. We talked about the being a director and filmmaker and all that stuff. Talked about the movies. Now let's talk about that book, right? What is it that you want us to get, your readers to get from that book?
Well, the book, the book is really raw. I'm not pulling punches because that's my life. That's what happened. And it just tells from that time I was basically raped on up to when I got the internship for the Wall Street Journal, and what goes into that. And it's very painful to think about some of the stuff I went through when I read it. I had to read it through, but it was also very, eye-opening and helped me heal in a lot of ways, because
Yes.
after the book came out, I started getting letters when I used to write letters, but letters, emails, calls from people who said, basically the questions were, how did you turn your life around, and can you help me?
You had a prisoner, right? A male prisoner had wrote you.
Yeah, a prisoner wrote me. He was getting ready to get out of prison, and he just didn't want to go back in. And he asked me for some advice. And I wrote him back. I did write him back. I don't know. I didn't keep up with him, so I don't know if he's doing okay. But, I hope I helped him in some way to understand. That's about the only thing that hasn't happened to me. Going to prison, but practically everything else has. So I still could, sympathize with the man, and how he wanted to turn his life around. So then that's why I started getting to speaking and stuff like that, because I said I can't touch people one-on-one as opposed to if I could touch a large audience or something like that. So that's what I started doing that. And my thing is, I'm just trying to tell my story on resilience and having faith and working hard and getting the help that you need. A lot of people don't, especially in the Black community, don't want to get
You don't get the help,
the therapy that they need, get the help that they need. But it's nothing wrong with getting the help that you need, because you need it. You need the help. You need someone of a professional nature who can come in with the tools to help you change your life and heal, trying to start healing.
Absolutely. There's like a negative stigma that comes along with, especially in our community, that comes along with that therapy. I rejected it for the longest time. I resisted it when I was younger. I used to feel like when I walked in that office, that person was judging me and looking at me like another client, or some other person to work with, who they've kind kind of met before. I'm like, you don't know me, you don't know my story, you don't know who I am. Don't judge me. It was really hard going through that. And of course, I never told anybody about, my abuse when I was younger, because not only did I not, think that they cared about me or think that they deserved to hear my story or deserve to try to help me. It was weird, but I also I didn't know how to overcome or didn't know how to talk about it because of the stigma that came along with it, in our community. And I think that was one of the things that was so important for me was in writing that book was getting that therapy. I feel like writing that book did you feel that way? I heard you mention it was kind of therapeutic, right? Like writing your book, telling that story, finally getting it out there. Of course, you had to sit with it. It wasn't easy for you. For me, it caused a lot of challenges in my relationship. My family, my wife especially, couldn't figure out why I had become like so aggressive and like angry and just like really short. And they didn't know I was writing that story because I hadn't told anybody about it. So by writing that,
you told your wife
I didn't even tell my wife, and that was a hard thing for her, because I never told her. But I confided in one person, my very best friend. I had told at the time, and I didn't tell my wife, and because I didn't know how she would look at me or how she would judge me. But I had to get that. I had to get it out. So when I started writing the book, it was therapeutic for me, but it was causing challenges in my relationship. My wife and I ended up going to therapy, and then we ended up becoming, a lot closer once she knew what had happened.
Right.
And I was able to get through it more and pinpoint what the challenges were in our relationship, and it was stemming from me revisiting that trauma that I had never dealt with.
Yeah, you got to bring that all back up and feel the pain all over again, and it can be hard. Some chapters were harder to write than others, but I got through it, and it's cool. I mean, now it's in development as a feature film, so I better be okay with it.
Yes, awesome. There's a lot of actors and actresses and directors, filmmakers, people of that nature, people in the entertainment industry who watch this podcast, and I want them to get something out of this from you specifically, because those are our people, right? So we want to talk to them. What are some of the things that, well, I'll tell you, I know one thing I know that people have challenged with in this entertainment industry is feeling like they keep trying, and it doesn't always happen for them. They get frustrated, they quit, they get down on themselves, they don't believe in themselves anymore because they don't get that job that they wanted or the opportunity that they wanted. One of the things that I saw you do was not wait for the opportunity, but create it.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? George Bernard Shaw said the people who get on in this world are the people who look for the circumstances that they want. And if they don't find them, they make them, right? They create the circumstance. You created the circumstances that you want by becoming a director, a filmmaker, becoming a writer, and a producer. So you got basically all the bases covered, and an actor,
and the fight choreographer,
and a fight choreographer. So you don't have to hire anybody to do the stunts. Like,
that's right. I'm like, come on over here. I'll teach you how to do it.
I'll teach you how to do it. So you created the circumstances that you wanted by putting yourself in position to do so. Can you talk a little bit to creating those circumstances so we can stop getting so defeated in ourselves and continue to persevere through this entertainment industry?
Well, I realized early on that if I wanted to make this my career, that I couldn't wait for someone to, especially being a Black female. It's hard. It's really hard. So you do have to go study your craft, and you still really have to go find ways that you can be more than just one. You got to have more than one title these days to really get out there if you want to give yourself a fighting chance, because if they can't, you can't do one thing, you can go do the next. If you can't do that, you can go do something else. So for me to have all those hats under one, it makes me more of a commodity for whatever project that I'm gonna do. Even if someone wants to hire me, like these Hollywood producers did, I'm more of a commodity. Like, I could look at their script and tell them what's wrong with it and help them fix it. That's that. I'm going to direct. I'm not a producer on this, but I'm still doing stuff that helps. I'm helping them produce, even though I don't have that title. I'm telling them things that they need to know and do, because they're new producers, so they really don't know. And I don't mind doing it, even though I'm not getting that producer credit, because I want the movie to be successful. And that's another thing. You got to be, willing to help others. You can't just say what's in it for me. Because if you act like what's in it for me, what's in it for me, you're not building the relationships that you need in the business. You're not networking properly. You're not coming being of worth to others. And that's what you need too. You need to have all that. So people say, she'll help me. She doesn't look for something in return. And that's pretty cool. You have to be that way in this business.
Wow. Yeah, you're the full package when you do that. I love that. I love that. Absolutely. That was a good word. Because I think that we kind of sometimes in this industry, I think you're kind of trained to come do your job and leave. You know, you're kind of trained to stay in your lane and do what you're supposed to do. When I'm on set, sometimes my kids get a little bit annoyed at me because I'm like, I see a cord that's that I know somebody can trip over that's in the way. I know they have people who literally just deal with the courts, just the courts, and they are supposed to make sure that they're not in the way, so nobody trips. I have somebody that does that. But if I see out of place, we're part of this project in whatever form. My kids are on set or whatever, and something's out of place. I'm gonna help. If I see somebody looking like they're struggling, I'm gonna assist them. And my kids are like, Dad, that's his job. You have to let them do it. And in most respects, they're right.
I'm
But at the
surprised
same
you do.
time,
I'm surprised you do that on a SAG production.
they don't like it. They don't, and
No.
that's why my son and my daughters don't like when I get involved, because if you get hurt doing stuff like that, then they're liable. So a lot of things you're supposed to stay out the way. But that's just kind of who I am. I love to help other people, and if I see something that's not right, we are part of this project, and I want it to succeed. So I'm gonna, help out any way I can. But most times when you're asking, do you need help with something, they're always telling you no, they got it. They kind of push you away because it is a SAG production. You're not supposed to be involved, but that's who I am, and that's helped me to build some great relationships. Just because I've tried sometimes, even though they tell me no, those people are grateful, and we build a connection, because of
Right.
that, because they see I'm
Right.
willing to help. So that's really important. What you said is relationships is big in this industry. So
Right.
making yourself um, available to help out in any way that you can, that they'll
To
allow
do
you
more
to.
than what's just your job
Than
title.
just your job. Yeah, they love that. They definitely love that. So that's definitely a good word. Um, so we talked about your book. We talked about the fact that you're a speaker, you're an author, you're a director, a filmmaker, acting, actor, just so many different things. What is it, right, that Miss Jillian does outside of all of these different things? What do you love to do for fun? What is it that you do that makes you happy?
I work out. I do MMA and boxing and kettlebells, training and yoga. I do yoga like 5 days a week to keep my mind right, keep my mind focused and meditation. But I also do mixed martial arts, boxing, and kettlebell training, weightlift, because it helps me again just feel strong. As I get older and everything. I want to continue to be strong and healthy and fit. And people say to me, "That's not relaxing. That's not that's not having fun." It's fun to me. So
Yes.
it's a hard work. Obviously, you put in a lot of hard work into it, and um, it can be painful at times, obviously. But I mean, I love it. So to me, it's like natural, just what I love to do.
I
So
love it. It's important to do what you love, do things that are fun for you, to have that time away from work. Even though work is what we love to do, there's
right,
something
right,
that we always love to do something that just for specifically and only for enjoyment and pleasure. And that's okay too, of course, in moderation, but that's okay
right,
too.
right.
Now,
Yeah, I really don't
you,
have a social life because I'm too busy. I'm busy building my multi-million-dollar empire. I'm
yeah,
on the track. I'm trying to be on the track like Tyler Perry. I'm trying to make it work.
yes.
Trying to be
Well,
there.
that
Trying
actually
to
was
work
my,
hard
I was about to just get to that. You're talking about building a studio,
in
and
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. You're talking about building it in our home, well, I'm in LA now, but I'm a Philly guy, born in Philly, born in West Philly. So we lived there almost all of our lives, my wife and my kids,
Mhm.
especially. And now we're here in LA. You're in Philly right now. You're growing. You're getting a little bit bigger. I'm gonna say it. You don't have to, but I'm gonna say you're kind of outgrowing Philly. It's a big place, a
Yeah,
big city, but it's a
yeah.
small. It's small. Um,
No, I mean,
especially with
I
the
plan to
community.
move to. I'm a plan to move to LA for a while and then come back and build like Tyler did. He did. He was in LA for a while, and then he said he wanted to build his studio in Atlanta, where he's from. So, but he
Hmm.
stayed in Hollywood for a while till he got to that point that
Hmm.
he could break away and have the money and the resources to go back to Atlanta. I
Yes,
plan to do the same thing. I know I need to
exactly.
go out there and make my name for myself and grow to a certain level, get all that together, then eventually come back to Philly. But that is my ultimate goal, to do like he did, make a studio, maybe not 300 acres, but
I
you
don't know
know,
if we got 300 acres available in Philly to
right? I would have to mow down some homes, and
vote out some blocks.
I don't think it's even that big of enough space. But the thought process is there
Yeah,
to
yeah, for sure.
come back and do that studio eventually. Yeah,
Yeah, and once you, I know the name you're going to make for yourself here in LA, the city's going to
yeah,
welcome you back and be, willing to knock down a couple pieces of something to build you that studio.
yeah. I'm coming, man. I'm coming.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you've got obviously some amazing things going. And if there was one thing that you can tell the world, not just actors, directors, and people in the entertainment industry, not just survivors, or people who are trying to overcome, the challenge of their past or whatever that is. But what is that one thing that you can tell everybody that transcends whatever, you know, whatever endeavor you're a part of, whatever thing you're doing in your life? What is that thing that that's universal, that can stick with everybody, that you can tell the world today?
Well, whenever I leave any speech or anything like that, I always say the same. My quote is, "Your past doesn't dictate what your future will be." Because my past, I should not be here. I should be in prison or dead or still on
Hmm.
welfare with 10 children, uneducated,
Hmm.
and of course my sons and my daughter should be like, especially my first child, should just be
Mm.
a statistic. And I say to people that even if you don't have the support that you would love, you don't have the help that you would love, you still have to hold fast to your dreams, get that resilience, that faith, to get that grit and determination to push on. Because your family sometimes can be your worst enemy. They can be the worst critics and everything, so you're not going to always get that love and support you need. Just have to find people who will support you. You have to get around groups of people who believe in you and who are going to help uplift you and motivate you and come to your aid to help you get to that next level. You just have to find those people. Um, but I tell people, no matter what your past is, you could come out of prison, you can come out of being a drug addict, alcoholic, or whatever you can turn your life around. You're gonna have to get the help that you need to do that, but it's definitely possible to live your dreams, no matter what they are.
Absolutely. And you're not just saying it because you read it in a book somewhere, or, it's not just some hyperbole. You're a living, walking, breathing example of exactly what you just said. That great determination, that perseverance, that faith, that love, finding the people who will support you along the way. You're there. You are that walking, breathing example. So we're thankful for you, for being that example for the world, and thankful for all the things that you've been able to overcome. We're grateful for your presence in this world, because you're truly making an impact, from your films, which I'm going to leave a review on as soon as we get done this, because I think it was extraordinary. From your films to your book, Here I Stand, to the new films that you're going to be doing when you come to LA, and all the things that you've got going on. I'm so grateful to have met you and came across you that fateful day. My wife sent me an interview you were doing with our great friend, Mr. Troy Alexander. You were doing an interview with him, and you said, just the things that you said. My wife knew that you were somebody who I should know, somebody who I should meet, because our story was so similar. And she's always looking to connect me with people who come from where I come from, who can help me do the work that I'm doing.
Hmm.
And we need more people like you and I to come together and do this work together, because our impact is so much more phenomenal and extraordinary when we're working together.
That's true.
So
That's
I'm
true.
grateful to have met you, and one day hopefully we'll do something together. It's
Be
in the
great.
acting space. When
Yep.
you're here in LA, we can. I would love to. Even in Philly, as long as you're there, if you're in there while I'm there, I love to get together with you and do some of the work that we do in some of the schools and stuff like that. We can really make an impact together, sharing our stories. Be a lot of tears in there. You might have to get some. wet floor signs, some guys with some mops, because there's going to be.
We're gonna have to get
Oh
some
my gosh.
a therapist to stand by too. Because you know what? No, because the thing is about that is that when you share that, I was at one school in New Jersey before the pandemic, and after my speech, these kids came up to me. One kid in particular told me he had been raped numerous times, and he was just in so much pain that I gave him my number, and I told him reach out to me, and we could talk it through. And he just felt like he couldn't talk to people. They didn't understand, and he was suicidal. I asked him to get help. I told the principal to get him, help him get some therapy and stuff. But he wanted to talk to somebody who had been through what he had been through. And sometimes that's what people need. They want to know that you really understand what I'm going through because you've been there. And it's just so heartbreaking sometimes to see the pain that so many people are going through, especially young people. And it's just I think I didn't die that day when I tried to commit suicide, because I think God just has something more in store.
We need you here to inspire that young man that day.
So yeah, if we could get it together, go to some schools. I don't care where we at, LA, Philly, I don't care. Yeah. It's just when we can get back out there and share our stories with people, and I think it'll help a lot of people. I really do.
I know it will. I've seen it done. Your story impacted me. I know it impacted, so many more people who've watched these videos, whether it be Mr. Troy's, or whether it's going to be this video, or whether it's going to be your movie or whatever, or you telling the story. When you share your story, people see themselves in you, and they see you overcoming. It makes them believe that they can overcome it too. So it's so important that we're sharing your story. And I'm looking forward to the day that we can do it together for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm so grateful for your time, Miss Jillian. Man, it's the roller coaster of emotions. I'm so happy for you, and then I hear your story, and I'm like crying, and I'm like and then you say something that's impactful, that empowers and inspires people, and I'm like motivated. It's just, you're amazing. You're an amazing individual.
Thank you,
I have one more question that I want to ask you, and then I'm going to ask you to say some last words. And tell everybody where we can find you, all your social media, things like that. I'm going to put it in the description of the video as well, so they can find you quickly and easily, but I just want you to share it with them. But when you hear Go Be Great, right? When you hear Go Be Great, what does that mean? It means something different to everybody. And that's the point. But what does Go Be Great mean to you?
Well, I think it means to me that just follow your heart, follow your dreams. I just, you know what, to be honest with you, I think if I didn't have the dream of my stepfather, the mafia guy, I think I would have tried to kill myself again until I was successful, because that helped me hold on to life. You got to have something that you would do. I always think of this way. You got to find something that you love so much, you would do it if you don't get paid. Because we know in the industry, especially this business is hard. So you don't always get paid what you think you should get paid and everything. But you do it anyway because you love it so much. I eat, sleep, drink, breathe filmmaking, entertainment. It's a part of me. You have to find something that you feel that passionate about and change the world with it. You'll never see me doing comedies. You'll never see me doing sci-fi. It's always going to be something that's impactful. I mean, it's going to be educational, entertaining, of course, and empowering. It has to be, because I'm here to change the world.
That's your motto, right? Empowerment, empowerment, educational,
entertainment.
Yeah.
Because I'm here to do all that, because you have to do entertainment. I'm not I don't make documentaries. But I want to just change people's lives in some way. And if it's just through a 2-hour movie or a TV show or a book or something, that's what I really believe I was put on this earth to do. So hold on, find something that you love, that you would do it no matter if you don't get paid, and put your 120% into that every single day. Eventually it's going to pay off. If I had quit, a lot of times I wanted to quit the industry because it is so hard. I was raising 3 children, trying to go to school, trying to do work and all. I wanted to quit so many times. If I had done that, I wouldn't have got that call from Hollywood.
Say it. Yes.
I wouldn't have got it.
Say it again. So many of us quit before we we're like, oh, it's too much. I'm not going to make it. It's not going to happen.
Yep.
But
they make so many excuses and quit and this and that, and then grumble once they quit. Oh, make all these excuses. No, you quit. And that round the corner, coming next was the Hollywood producer calling to say, hey, I want the $5.5 million person. If I quit, I would have never got
that call. Oh my gosh.
You just can't quit, people. It's just, no matter how hard it is. You just can't quit.
You can't quit. I love it. I absolutely love it. Oh my gosh.
I don't care how long it takes. I really don't care how long it takes. Because if you love it like that, it won't seem that daunting. If it's something that you're drudging every day, you're like, you won't do it. Like a lot of people would, but if you love it, you're going to continue to do it if you never get paid. You're just going to keep doing it because you love it so much. But if you do the work right and you make the right choices and you get around the right people and build relationships, and people like those Hollywood producers had to have looked me up and saw, people saying things about you. If they say negative things about you, they definitely don't want to deal with you. So everything has to be great. But you want to be that type of person anyway. You should want to be that type of person anyway.
Absolutely.
So then it all comes together. And it's just, I don't know. It's just, you just can't quit. You just can't quit.
That's the perseverance that you talk about, that's the perseverance that you talked about earlier, that you talk about in all your interviews, that's what it takes, right? Being that person that pushes through all obstacles. I used to say so many times, like, I'm not supposed to be here. I faced death so many times. Sometimes I felt like not continuing on, but if I had quit, I wouldn't be conducting this interview with you here today. I wouldn't be, who I am today. I wouldn't have gotten my family to California, to Los Angeles, to live out their dreams of being actors in the entertainment industry. My son wouldn't be on a CBS, a hit CBS sitcom every Monday night. My daughter wouldn't have her own production company. And at 19, she's had it since she was 13. To be a director and a filmmaker in this industry in LA is extraordinary. My wife's working on her book. Like, had I quit, these things wouldn't have happened. So we cannot quit,
Right. Cannot quit.
We cannot quit. We have, if we truly love it, we'll do it and push through regardless of the circumstances. Right?
And no matter how hard it takes, no matter how long it takes, I've been in this industry for like 25 years, and finally I got the guts up to move to California. But who cares? It doesn't matter when you do it, as long as you do it. It doesn't matter when. People, I think like
we get. Go ahead. Please.
No, okay, I'm just saying that people just think that's supposed to happen overnight. 1 or 2 years, 3 years, they were like, oh, it's supposed to be blown. No, if you hear about the people in any industry who are great, who are to that level of greatness, it took them years and a lot of failure, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Yes. And they pulled themselves back up by their bootstraps, start over, try to figure it out, started. You don't have the Bill Gates in the world, the Oprahs in the world, anybody that's come of greatness, Obama, anybody that's come of greatness, it took a lot of hard work, struggle, crying, beating your head against the wall, and wanting to quit, but you don't.
You don't.
Anybody who's great, it took them, for Tyler Perry to have a studio on 308 acres of land, and he was sleeping in his car when he was doing his first play because he was homeless because all his money went to his play. From him going to work at a hotel where he's mopping the floors, and he bumps into Oprah, who don't know him because he was a nobody at that time. He's mopping the floors in a hotel that Oprah is staying at. Are you kidding me?
Oh, wow.
To him being 300 acres of land in his studio, with one of the studios named after Oprah.
Oh. Wow. Oh, wow. He was mopping floors in a hotel. A job that we frown upon sometimes in our
No,
society.
Oprah gave him an autograph copy. She did give him an autograph too. So he was, but the thing is, from there to him naming the first studio and on his lot after Oprah, and them being best buds. That's to
Wow.
me, that's is absolutely amazing to me. But
Wow. Incredible.
if he had quit, he'd still be mopping them floors.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I absolutely love it. I love it. Oh, you were a joy. You are a joy to have here today. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm gonna have you again one day. What?
When I come to LA.
Yeah, when you come to LA. Yes. Yes. I love it. I love it. Um, let's before we go, let's give the audience all of your social media. Let's tell the audience where we can find you.
Well, the best way to do it is just to go to my website because my social media is on there. So jbullockenterprises.com. They can see what I'm working on. All my social media is on there. They can, just follow me. jbullockenterprises.com.
Awesome. Awesome. Guys, check her out. Please check her out. She's got some extraordinary work, extraordinary body of work. Check out the movie. Please check out the movie. It's on Amazon Prime. It is a sense of purpose, fighting for our lives. And when you watch it, leave a review. Look at mine, leave a review.
That's
guys,
right.
leave a review. And thank you so much for joining us, guys. Continue to be amazing. Continue to be phenomenal. And of course, as always, go be great.